How's it going, guys? Balder here, and before you ask, yes, I am in the Phoenix Sim A320 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, unfortunately, I wanted to make a video about this plane because there are a lot of good things going with it. For one, it's very realistic. There are a lot of things that you're able to do with this that the normal fly-by-wire can't do. However, there are also some issues with it, not particularly with the plane itself, but with Microsoft Flight Simulator. See, the problem is that with the A320, I start to get sim degradation before I even start to taxi. If I want to load up the entire plane, great. But then, by the end of it, it starts to really slow down and performance is affected. It gets to the point where it can't even really take off properly in this plane. Now, the thing is, I'm not 100% blaming Phoenix Sim on this. Obviously, it's a new mod, they have some things to hammer out, that's perfectly fine. But the performance degradation goes beyond the Phoenix Sim A320 and affects every single plane that I fly. For example, if I want to fly the fly-by-wire A320, I can do that, but if I have a flight that's longer than 3 hours, well, guess what? The performance is going to degrade. It doesn't degrade as much as Phoenix Sim, but again, it's a newer plane, just came out, they have a few things to hammer out. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Practically all mods tend to do that. But I get the same with the Phoenix Sim A320, the same with the fly-by-wire A320, along with the Aerosoft CRJ700, and even in-house planes such as the 787, they all start to degrade, and this causes a problem for me. For one, I'm not the only one who has this issue. Many people do. In fact, in the forums, there are over 2,000 responses and complaints regarding this, trying to troubleshoot it, trying to figure it out, trying to bring the attention up to Microsoft. And this is a game, or sim, whatever you want to call it, that's been around since August 18th of 2020. It's almost 2 years old, and for some reason I can't have a long-haul flight. Now, when it comes to things like general aviation, it seems to be a lot easier, and I can do that a lot more easily. But when it comes to jets, it seems like that's where most of the problems come from. I don't know if it's the glass cockpit, I don't know if it has to do with the jets in particular. It's just causes problems. And as I mentioned before, I'm not the only one. So, what does this mean? Well, it means that there were a lot of videos that I tried to make, especially one as of yesterday, where I tried to make one of the Phoenix Sim A320. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out the way that I wanted to just because of how the performance carried out. So, in regards to that, I don't think it's my hardware. My hardware is an i7 7700K that's been overclocked to 4.8 gigahertz. I have an RTX 2070 Super, along with 32 gigs of RAM on a solid state drive. This is something that goes well beyond the recommended settings for Microsoft's recommendations. So I don't know what's going on. I did get in contact with Microsoft with their support, and they say that it has to do with the configuration of the hardware in a computer. Certain combinations of hardware will affect the simulator differently, and I happen to be the unlucky one out. So, unfortunately, that means there's going to be fewer Microsoft Flight Simulator videos. I have absolutely no issues with DCS World, I have no issues with X-Plane, and when it comes down to general aviation, Microsoft Flight Simulator still works pretty well. It's just that in regards to, well, jets and very nice jets that came out recently, like the MD-83, as well as the 737-700 by PMDG. I all want to try that stuff, but unfortunately, Microsoft Flight Simulator makes it impossible. So, I hope you guys understand. I have been on a 2-month-long hiatus, but a big part of that is that I couldn't really get anything to record, and it almost seems obligatory because I have also been using PackX, and PackX really does help when it comes to immersion. But still, hopefully it does get fixed eventually, but coming up on 2 years, I'm becoming less optimistic about that. But either way, I will still make Flight Simulator videos with or without jets in Microsoft Flight Simulator. With that said, hope you guys understand, and as always, you have a nice day.